Good morning, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Today is Saturdays just before 12 p.m. and today we are off to go start our 2025 roofing season. We have a few inspections to go do today. The winter has been pretty successful, actually. We've had quite a few inquiries come in over the course of the winter. Now, if you watch the channel, you know this is our off season, so we're not doing a whole lot of work, but we have seen a recent thaw come through southern Ontario here. But as you can see, we still have quite a bit of snow piling up, but it is gradually starting to melt. So we're off to go check out a well, this is actually a full roof replacement, possible insulation install, and soffit gutters and fascia install as well. So we'll go show you guys the property. I've already been there a couple times, gone over some of the different products. We're going to go over there once more and double check some of our measurements. And then I have a second job to go and check out. It is a skylight replacement for a customer we did a roof for approximately 15 years ago or so. So we're going to go check that out and possibly get that done in the spring as well. So follow along with me. We're going to go pick up the smaller ladder off the trailer, and then I'll be heading back up to the house. We'll pick up Henna, and she'll be coming along as well. So it should make for a fun day. So it is a pretty beautiful day here in southern Ontario. Sun is out. Temperature on the truck is reading about 2 degrees. And snow, last time I was out here, was hard enough. Oh yeah, look at that. We could still walk on it. But this is where we get a lot of the drifting snow. Now we've had some pretty warm days and some significant rain that's come through. So this isn't even nearly what it was like. Next week we're going to be looking at some double-digit days, so that's going to be great. A lot of this will again start to melt. This first project that we're going to today is a beautiful 612 pitch. It's a 2-story home, and it's a perfect job to be doing a whole combination, you know, of fascia, soffit, gutters. We've never done any full big projects, so that's new for our services for 2025. So we're super excited to be pricing that out for one of the first jobs of the season. And of course, you know, always expanding the services. Being able to offer more as a company is always a great thing. More possible revenue sources there, and just a whole lot of fun. You know, when I originally met with these customers, they were telling me about how, you know, Matt, I wish you did, you know, fascia, soffit, and gutters. And I spoke with the team, and after a little bit, you know, we were like, well, we've never done a project this size. We've done plenty of fascia, soffit, gutter repair work, things like that, smaller installs, but we've never done anything like a full home. Get that all closed up. Oh, I think I see a Miss Henna. I do see a Miss Henna. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Miss Henna. Here is Miss Henna, everybody. How's your winter been? People haven't seen you for probably a couple months. I don't know if you were in the last video or not.
No, I don't think it was. No, I've been indoors most of the winter. It's so cold for me out there.
I hear you. Man, I thought this snow would have been a little bit more thawed, but
no, it's still pretty
it
hard.
was just boom, boom, just throw it. It was like I was driving over boulders. Well, with that being said, Miss Langston, we're gonna get on the road.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you guys at the project, and see you later. So some exciting news. Over the course of the last couple weeks, we've been having some meetings with different manufacturers that we've worked with in the past. So one meeting was with GAF or GAF, and the second meeting was with CertainTeed. So if you watched the videos through last year, you know that we started switching up materials that we're using, really looking for the best products that we could find here in Ontario. And CertainTeed was the one that we jumped to from GAF. So we found some pretty noticeable differences with switching to CertainTeed. It was really like a night and day difference switching from the two products. And so I believe we're going to go ahead with a CertainTeed certification. We aligned really well during that meeting. I really like the rep that came out. I met with him a couple times over the years, and we've always had good conversation. And I just really like what they stand for with their certification. I really like the process of it, and it's just additional perks that we can offer our customers for the future. So So I think we're going to be going ahead with that later on this month. We got to go in for some training. I'll probably film that day later on. But yeah, so it's pretty exciting. Something that I've looked forward to really since I've heard of the certification programs, and certainly since I've taken over ownership of the company and everything. So pretty cool, excited for that, and excited to show you guys what the future of 2025 holds. So if you guys watched our videos from last season, this is one of the last projects that we did of 2024, last full re-roof projects at least. And this is the project that we'll be doing today,
Well,
or checking out today.
Yeah.
So they still have a fair amount of snow up on the roof. Not sure if you guys can see it. Probably pop up the drone and show you guys that way. But Miss Henna and I are going to get some measurements for the soffit fascia and the gutters, and then I'm going to double check my roofing measurements and make sure that those are all good to go as well. And then at some point we got to pop into the attic space and just double check the attic measurements as well. Okay, well, Miss Henna and I, we're going to go set this ladder up. I'm going to need the fold up as well as our extension ladder here. All right, so I've been here a couple times over the course of the last few weeks. We set up a few tarps on the rear, and that's because they have some leaking that's happening on the flat roof that's back there. So all of this is relatively simple, easy peasy. But the first few times that I was here, we were unable to do any kind of inspection with the amount of snow that was up here. So we're doing that today. Looks like they got a little chimney protrusion there. Probably rework. Yeah, that counter flashing that they have on the chimney is a little improper, so we'll probably be redoing that. Overall, the shingles look fairly half decent, but as you can see, we don't have a lot of stick with the shingles. Okay, well, it's a little chilly up here, so we're gonna get right on into measuring. Pretty beautiful day today, a little bit windy. 16 feet. Say 43 feet. So typically when I'm coming in for inspections, we have this new inspection app that we use. So we go into inspection report, we start inspection. I'll maybe put a link to this down in the description for any of you guys that are interested. But it automatically fills in our date, time of the inspection, our address. We click next. Here we just go residential, asphalt, roof inspection. We can add media. So with the drone shots that I took when we first arrived, I can add those into the project. Just 12, so our pitches of 412. How many layers of roofing material? We just have one layer. Is it installed correctly? So that's when, if I can, I'll start to come and look at where our joints are and make sure that everything is nailed properly. You can see here we do have some nails that are pretty close to our keyways, not right in the keyway, so it's not, you know, a huge concern. So I'll come start lifting shingles and kind of see where our nails lie. But as far as our spacing between our joints of the shingles, those are all done right. Everything looks fairly straight and accurate in that sense. So in this case, I would go yes. So I noticed during my previous visits, we did have some water that was protruding out of this plumbing stack flashing. There was no interior damage inside the house, but we do have a small little piece here, a keyway, and you can see that this just has zero stick to it at all. So any water that comes in this keyway here, you can see all the debris that just gets stuck in there. Now that water, it looks like we unfortunately have a nail that's right here. All that water, as you can see, can travel right underneath this flashing. And if there's a nail here, any water that travels in here, which there obviously is, but all this debris, water travels in here, hits that nail, goes in the house. It can also come down, continue to come down here. You can see where this is starting to lift. We call this a nail pop. And it'll rust out that nail that's in there, go in that hole, and that's where all that water is coming from. So then during each one of these questions, I could add photos to each note that I make, and then I can also make designated notes for every answer that we're making. So here, the home is experiencing a couple different leaks. We have one on the main roof here. It's not affecting the interior of the home as of yet, but we do see some moisture in the attic. And then the flat roof down there is currently leaking, which is why it's tarped off at the moment. Okay, so that pretty much is everything we need from up here. Now we'll go down to the bottoms. $21. And then this section of the roof is what we're going to be using a roll-on product for because of the lower grade pitch that it's sitting on. So these are 2 skylights, yep.
Those are very interesting, 2 skylights.
Yes, yeah. Well, they're big domes.
Oh, you're perfect.
They're big domes. So 14. So what I do when I'm measuring these out is I just cut it up. I cut it up into squares. That's what my dad always did. And so it's a home like this is super simple.
Yeah.
Right, when it gets cut up, it's a little more complicated, but I always picture it like a flat. I always flatten the roof. You know, think of looking top down and squishing it down flat. And yeah, I know, makes...
I'm gonna get that engraved on my headstone, because like every time you come to measure the roof, that is what you say.
Oh, really?
It's like your mantra for measuring.
Then I write all my measurements in a note document here, and it does all the calculations for me, which is pretty handy. And then I just attach this with every project that we're doing. So a lot of guys will use EcoView, which is, or they'll use like RoofR or some kind of software that automates a lot of that. They don't even have to come up on the roof, but I'm not a huge fan of that. I like being able to come up and physically inspect the job, and you can see all the little nitty-gritty details of what's going on. And so we'll probably be replacing these flashings as well. We'll probably cut these out, redo our chimney flashings. They have one on the rear or on the far side of the house that we'll redo as well. So you can see here on their starter shingle, especially on that side, how when there's no drip edge installed like this, there's nothing for this tar to stick to.
Yeah, just free floats.
So any water that can come off here, especially when you have nails like this that come loose, it just creates a big opening for water to just start rotting out your fascia boards.
It's gonna look so much nicer with the drip edge.
And especially on this side, I mean, our tar line isn't even touching anything, so it's really not doing anything. And so that's something that we see a lot here in Southern Ontario is no drip edge on the gable ends, and something that we always doing on all the projects. It's been a little bit since I've had to climb down one of these. Your sea legs back.
Yes,
right?
Getting up was a little weird for me, I'm not gonna lie.
All right, so for this bit, I'm gonna take the camera off just because they have a lot of windows in the backyard. And I'm not looking to point a camera into anybody's windows while they're enjoying their Saturday. So we'll see you guys once we're all wrapped up. All right, guys, just got back from visiting with the client. It is now 1:44 p.m. We are gonna head off to our second job of the day, go check out a skylight replacement. So this one is quite the project. The customer is now looking at doing a potential siding job in adjacent with the soffit fascia and gutter. So it's turning out to be quite the project. But we got everything we need. We got all of our measurements are done. Had some good conversation with the clients there, and yeah. So we're gonna go grab a coffee, I think, because we have 10 spare minutes, and then we'll see you guys at the next job. All right, just pulling up to house number 2 of the day. And this is a project we did a good number of years ago. I think I touched on that earlier in the video, but they're having some issues with their skylight. And it's actually, I was here last year, late last year, and it was actually the gasket in the skylight that has failed. So they're looking at replacing the skylight So today we're gonna get a couple quick measurements. It's just a big old square skylight, so hopefully we could find something from Velux that fits. If not, we're most likely gonna do a larger curb mount custom built skylight. So there are options for them, but we're gonna get a couple measurements. It's a little bit tricky to get to, but first we're gonna go say hi to the customer. Again, we'll put the camera, or we'll leave the camera with Miss Henna and be back here shortly.
So here we have a little beret. Yay! So it's actually super cool. So this is cable knitting right here. So this is a cable, it's all folded on itself. And then this bumpy part you see, this is called the, I think it's the moss stitch. There you go. Through the snow.
All right, well, we just got a couple measurements from the inside, and it is a pretty wide skylight. It sits at 45 by 45 inches. And now we're gonna go take some measurements of the outside. Miss Henna is gonna be my assistant. She's gonna come hold the ladder. Because as you guys can see here in a few minutes, that there is about a foot of ice along the trough. Ladders, ice doesn't usually mix too well. Okay, so this is her. As you can see, it's a very old school style of frame, and it's a very big skylight. So most likely what we'll have to do is we'll have to take out a good portion of shingle all the way around here, and it looks like it just has a bit of custom flashing along the top. But we came here late last year and we did some sealant around the edges, which you can see, because I noticed all the gaskets were completely shot. So that was in an effort to solve that. So take a couple exterior measurements. 51.5. Now it's just climbing down this big patch of snow. All right, just pulling back up home. We're gonna go drop off all these ladders. I think I'm just gonna leave the fold-up ladder in here because it's just kind of convenient if we get a call and we have to run out like during the evening or something. We just have a little ladder that can reach most single-story bungalows and, or you know, the first story of most homes. So I think it has a max reach of 12 feet. All right, guys, well, we are home sweet home. I'm gonna show you guys a cool app that I've been using. So if any of you are running out there doing inspections for projects, you might find this app helpful. So this is an app that is called Safety Culture, and you can, I believe it's on Android and Apple as well, but we were using it a little bit on this project. I think I mentioned it on while I was up there on the roof. And it basically houses everything all in one place. So I can go to my inspections here, in progress, we can go here, has the date, name, and as soon as you open it up, it'll automatically save the date, the time that you're completing the inspection, the name, the address for everything, and then you can go in here, you just give a general description, and this is the really cool part here. You can share or take any photos of the property. You can pin them right directly to any of these point areas for any of the points that you're discussing during the inspection. So here, you know, just taking a photo of the work environment, and we use a lot of drone photos for our projects, so we have that listed there. And these questions that you go through are completely customizable. You can create them to however you want them to be. For us right now, the first one is roof pitch. We have how many layers of roofing product are currently installed. If you're working with multi-layered roofs, are the products currently installed properly? And then a big one here is the roof free of any damage or wear? And then if you highlight, you can highlight yes or no. Yes goes in green, means the customer is good to go. No means it's a red area and they should really pay some attention to it, and especially if they're dealing with leaks or anything like that. This can highlight those things for them. You can take notes, and then you can also apply pictures within the app. And so customers have an all-in-one place where they can see an inspection report. And this app makes it super easy and simple for the contractor. So this isn't like a sponsorship or anything like that. I've just been looking around and trying to find the best and simplest way to complete inspections while making the customer feel informed, and making it as efficient as possible. And this app has helped out a lot with a lot of the projects we've been dealing with over the last month or so. So here, as we step into 2025, we're branching in now into soffit fascia gutters and siding. So I have a little section here for that as well. And then attic inspection, any hazards of the job site, and then completion, you can sign off on it. And then you can attach this. For us, we attach it directly to our CRM software, so these will get automatically sent to the customer. But I mean, you can complete this and then just email it directly to the customer, assuming you have their contact details, and it's super convenient. Really like it. So if any of you guys out there run your own business, definitely recommend going that route. I know a lot of contractors, at least in the roofing trade, they will, their inspection will just be them going up on the roof. Maybe some of them will have maybe like a handwritten form or something they'll fill in, but I know a lot of guys, at least here, there's nothing to even give the customer. The customer won't even get a paper copy, or they're just kind of going off the word of the contractor, right? So maybe the contractor will send them a couple photos of damaged areas and whatever, but having a physical copy you can send the customer so they have for reference, I think is a really cool thing. So safety culture, check it out if you guys are interested. It's pretty cool. But yeah, some exciting things to come for 2025. Still continuing to revamp the internal systems. We do a lot of that work during the winter, and yeah, adding some new services this year. Moving into the soffit fascia gutter world, as well as siding. So this project the first project we checked out today is a good starting project for that. We've never tackled something, we've never tackled a full-size home for soffit fascia and gutter or siding. So this is pretty well the perfect project to really start with and build up that portfolio. So we've done plenty of repair work or smaller jobs, but as far as full completion of a project or a full house, we've never done before. So it's exciting stuff. You're continuing to always learn and expand your services, and you have to start somewhere. So these customers are fantastic. They're super friendly, and hopefully once we get these quotes sent over, they'll want to go ahead with it, and it will be a really fun kind of first project of the season for 2025. So we're almost there. We're getting there. We're looking at some double-digit mild temperatures for next week. So hopefully that'll get rid of a lot of the snow. This year was really bad for snow. We had tons of ice damming calls. A lot of them were on an emergency case-by-case basis. But in the last month in particular, we had quite a few calls come in. And of course, during the winter, we're shut down for the most part, and we move into our winter work. So a lot of those jobs had to be completed at least during the evenings or on weekends. So many of those didn't get filmed. So with all that being said, this is pretty well the end of the video. Not a ton going on, but we are starting to ramp up our 2025 season. We're starting to get more and more calls come in for the springtime, which is great. So it's looking like it's going to be a fantastic year, and I cannot wait to share it all with you guys. So thank you all so much for watching. We really appreciate it. And with that being said, we will see you guys in the next one.